My mom almost ended my life, but her gut feeling saved me. I remember finishing my chemistry exam early that Thursday afternoon, feeling pretty good about myself as I walked down the empty hallway toward my locker. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting their usual harsh glare on the polished linoleum floor. The school was eerily quiet since most classes were still in session. I was reaching for my combination lock when I heard what sounded like a car backfiring in the parking lot, but something about it made my stomach clench with inexplicable dread. The sound was too sharp, too deliberate. Then I heard another one, and another. Mrs. Henderson from the office came running down the hall, her usually perfect hair disheveled, her face pale with terror. She was screaming, "Lock down! Get in a classroom now!" in a voice I had never heard from her before, raw, panicked, desperate, and suddenly everything clicked into place like pieces of a horrifying puzzle. Those weren't car sounds. Those were gunshots. My blood turned to ice water. I sprinted to the nearest door, which happened to be the janitor's closet, diving inside among the mops and cleaning supplies. The small space reeked of bleach and floor wax. My hands were shaking so violently I could barely manage to lock the door from the inside. I pressed my back against the metal shelving, trying to make myself as small as possible. Bottles of cleaning chemicals surrounded me, and I found myself reading their labels over and over just to keep my mind from spiraling into panic. All-purpose cleaner, window spray, floor polish. The mundane words became a mantra against the terror clawing at my chest. I could hear footsteps echoing through the hallway, deliberate and methodical, getting closer with each passing second. Along with the footsteps came this horrible scraping sound, like someone dragging something heavy across the floor. My phone started buzzing incessantly with text after text from my mom. "Are you okay? Please respond. I love you. Stay safe, baby." I knew I should turn it off immediately. We had practiced this in drills, but I was completely frozen. The footsteps stopped right outside my door, and I could see a shadow shifting underneath a crack of light. My heart was pounding so hard I was certain whoever was out there could hear it. I held my breath until my chest burned. Then my phone started ringing. Mom calling. The sound was absolutely deafening in that tiny space, the cheerful ringtone grotesquely inappropriate for the moment. I watched in horror as the shadow outside shifted. The door handle jiggled violently, and I pressed my hand over my mouth to keep from crying out. This was it. I was certain I was about to die in a janitor's closet. But then I heard police sirens in the distance, growing louder. The footsteps suddenly ran in the opposite direction, quick and panicked now instead of methodical. I could hear doors slamming and voices shouting. 20 minutes later, officers found me still shaking uncontrollably in that closet. My legs had gone completely numb from crouching, and I could barely stand when they helped me out. When I finally got home hours later, after police interviews and my parents holding me so tight I could barely breathe, I asked my mom why she had been calling instead of texting during a lockdown. She looked at me with tears in her eyes and said she had this overwhelming feeling that she needed to hear my voice right then. It was not logical, just pure maternal instinct. Later, we found out from police reports that the shooter had been moving systematically from door to door, listening carefully for sounds inside before deciding whether to try to get in. My phone ringing made him think someone was actively talking on a call, suggesting the room was occupied and potentially dangerous, so he kept going to find easier targets. Her desperate need to hear my voice, the very thing I thought would get me killed, actually saved my life.